Hi there, welcome to the Yarn and Yarns YouTube channel. My name is Angela. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Rainbow Ange. Welcome to day 8 of my crazy 12 cast-ons of Christmas adventure. I'm going to let you into a little secret. I've started this video 3 times with 3 different projects. I thought I was going to be starting a jumper today, but then when I looked at my gauge swatch, I realised that the fabric I was getting wasn't quite right, so I need to do one more gauge swatch to just determine what needle size I'm going to use for that project. Then I thought I was going to be casting on a pair of colourwork mitts, but I realised I didn't have the right needle size for those in my stash at all. So, third time lucky. I'm going to be crocheting today and I have no problems with that whatsoever. So, living in this great big tote bag from Loop in London are some gorgeous yarns from Camo Rose. I purchased these in Loop back in November when I went on a little trip to the Yarnporium festival, and I have a little vlog about that festival and about the purchases that I made both at Yarnporium and subsequently at Loop. So if you're interested in that, you can pop back and watch it. But I picked up a whole bunch of this beautiful yarn with an idea of making a blanket for myself. And I'm going to be using the Babette pattern, which is a pattern you've probably seen, or at least a variation of. It's quite a simple sort of solid granny squares type construction, and you just make up squares in different sizes. So I am looking forward to getting started. I haven't got a plan because, as I say, I wasn't expecting to be starting this project today, but I'm going to wind up some of these yarns and have a look through the pattern to see what sort of it recommends in terms of construction. I have got multiples of a couple of the colours, but I'm just going to try and show you the full colour range that I picked up on the day. So I've got 8 colours for my blanket altogether. I've got these and these, she says, trying to awkwardly. There we go. That sort of shows you them all. So the blanket seems quite random. As I say, I haven't read the pattern, so I don't know if it's one of those that's kind of a planned randomness or it really is random. So I am planning to try and stick to these colours. It could be that I need to purchase some more of the yarn. I do have more of my favourite 2 colours in the colour palette that I picked, which is this lovely mustard and this lovely rusty orange. But yeah, I think I'm going to get winding. I know some people wouldn't bother winding, but I just find it easier to work from a caked yarn rather than a balled yarn, and as I've mentioned many times, it just helps me deal with any factory knots that might be in the yarns already. The Babette blanket is a design by Kathy Merrick, and the original design uses Koigu yarn, but I figure it's an easily adaptable kind of pattern. You can just go however you want. There's kind of a grid layout for the pattern. Whether I stick to that or not, I don't know. I guess I'm going to start making the squares and see what happens. I think the original blanket uses a few more colours than I have. So yeah, quite a few more colours. So yeah, I'm just going to have to play it by ear. I don't know whether I will do a little bit of planning to try and spread the colours out, or I'm just going to go for it and see what happens. I guess I may have more to say on that when I report back with my progress tomorrow. with you my progress on the Babette blanket. I just want to apologise for the lighting situation. We don't have as much light as usual. It's 8:15 and the sun has literally just risen, so we are under the auspices of first light at the moment, but I'm heading back to the shop today, so I want to get a head start on that and get there a little bit earlier than I usually would. I need to just get myself organised for the rest of the week and also try and get my head back in the game. It's quite a big difference, like knitting for yourself and having a knitty business head on. Anyway, yesterday I started my Babette blanket. There's not a huge amount to show. I do have a big old mess of bits and pieces, which I'll try my best to show you. So I had a look at the pattern, and the pattern calls for about 19 or 20 colours, I think, and I only have 8, so my blanket is going to be quite a lot different than the one in the pattern. But I've decided to follow the pattern layout to start with and see how large a blanket that gets me, and then I figured I could always add on sections afterwards. So I decided to start with the smallest of the squares, which are little 2 round solid granny squares, and I needed to make 50 of those, so I figured I needed to make 6 centres from each of the colours that I have, or thereabouts. There are a couple where I needed to make 7, so that's what I've done. I've made 50 teeny tiny little 1 round granny squares, and that is the majority of them there. See what I mean about a huge scraggly mess at the moment. However, I did get the 50 finished, and I started to add the second round to some of those squares. When I had my colours laid out on the table next to me, there was one in particular, which is this light pink, sort of baby pink colour that I wasn't sure about, but now that I've started actually making the squares up, I think that colour is going to be really nice in the blanket. It gives a little shot of something a little bit lighter. I do have a silvery grey too, but I think it balances out some of the darker colours. So I've managed to complete 12 of the 2 round granny squares, and they're looking really cute. So you just start as the centre of a normal granny square, and then you build out these solid sides. The colours aren't really showing true because of the light situation that we have, but it is what it is at the moment, and I am really excited because I think already I can just start to see how this blanket might build up and look. So from going from these scraggly ends to some actual squares really makes a difference. So yeah, as I say, I have 12 of these so far, and just this little to go. But this project will now go away for a little while. It's definitely the worst aspect of this 12 cast-ons adventure, is I get really excited and into the rhythm of a project, and then I know that it's going to be put away, and it's uncertain as to when I'll get to pick it up again. But the good thing is that obviously these are all projects that I'm excited to work on and I've wanted to cast on for a while. So in theory, whenever I get back to them, it will be a pleasure and a joy to work on them. Right, so that is it for the Babette blanket. Just one more thing I guess to say, I'm working my squares on a 3.5mm hook. It was recommended in the pattern, but as I wasn't using the yarn that the pattern recommends, I thought I'd go with whatever the yarn recommends as a size on the ball band, and it was between a 3 and a 4mm, so I had already decided to plump for 3.5, and it just so happens that that was also the hook recommended for the yarn used in the pattern. Okay, so I need to hop off and I'm going to quickly record the beginnings of today's cast on, and then I shall be heading off to start my day. Thanks so much for joining me, and hopefully I shall see you again shortly for the next of my 12 cast-ons of Christmas Madness.